Today, we are deleting the pyramids of Egypt. Can you imagine how life would have looked like? You might be thinking, okay, so we lose a few tourist photos and some weathered stone in the desert. Wrong! The reality is far more staggering. In this journey, we are going to dismantle the astronomical, engineering, medical, and economic pillars of our civilization. If the pyramids never existed, we wouldn't just be missing a landmark, we would be missing the source code of human progress. We are about to witness a total eclipse of history. We are going to cover how your current life, from the calendar on your phone to the skyscraper in your city, is actually a gift from the pharaohs. And today, we're taking it all back. Let's start by looking up. Long before the telescope, the pyramids served as humanity's first true cosmic anchor. They weren't just built on the sand, they were built into the stars, mirrored perfectly to the belt of Orion. By deleting the pyramids, we are deleting the moment humanity synchronized Earth with the heavens. Without this obsession with the stars, our ancestors might never have mastered the stone clock. The 365-day solar calendar we live by today, it vanishes. Imagine what your life would look like without a calendar, without a watch, without a sense of time. Imagine a world where seasons drift blindly and you never know when to plant, when to harvest, or when to prepare for the winter. Your smartphone schedule, your flight departures, the very concept of a year, all of it becomes a chaotic, tangled mess. By removing Giza, we are effectively breaking the world's first watch. Now look at the world around you. Every bridge that spans a river, every skyscraper that pierces the clouds, they all share a common ancestor. The pyramids were the vertical revolution. The builders of Giza solved the impossible riddle of structural load and mass distribution. They mastered the right angle and the golden ratio long before the rest of the world even had a name for it. In fact, these ancient architects were calculating the proportions of pi with stunning accuracy nearly 2,000 years before Pythagoras was even born. Imagine that, embedding universal mathematical constants into the very stone. If we delete the pyramids, we delete the proof of concept for monumental engineering. Think about the terrifying consequences. The bridges you drive across every day might never have been built. Or worse, they would collapse under their own weight because we never mastered the math of load-bearing structures. Those shimmering glass towers in our cities, they were never created. Humanity remains stuck in a horizontal existence, huddled in low, wooden shacks, forever afraid to build high because we never learned how to move mountains. But the most chilling loss isn't stone, it's blood. The pyramids were resurrection machines, and to fuel them, the Egyptians had to conquer the secrets of the flesh through mummification. This was, in reality, the world's first systematic study of human anatomy. If we hit delete on the pyramids, we erase the cultural drive to preserve the body. And if we don't preserve the body, we don't map the organs. Imagine your life without modern surgery. Imagine a world where a simple broken bone or a routine infection is a death sentence because we never learned to look inside the human frame. While we take the emergency room for granted today, in this alternate timeline, doctors are still using chance and magic to treat heart disease. Your life expectancy drops by decades. We aren't just deleting history, we are deleting the very medicine that keeps you alive. Now, let's follow the economic collapse and watch as an entire nation's wealth vanishes into the sand. If we delete the pyramids, we aren't just losing rocks. We are losing the world's greatest treasure chest. Ancient Egypt was the El Dorado of the ancient world. Tons of gold were pulled from the earth to decorate the tombs of the pharaohs. If the pyramids were never built, that gold might never have been mined, or worse, it would have been buried and lost forever. We are talking about the vanishing of the treasures of Tutankhamun, billions of dollars worth of gold and artifacts that set the gold standard for human wealth. But look at Egypt today. Without the pyramids, the country looks like a ghost. Every year, over 15 million tourists flock to the Nile to see the last standing wonder of the world, pouring nearly $15 billion into the economy. Imagine that money vanishing. Imagine the streets of Cairo turning silent, hotels closing, airlines going bankrupt, and millions of families who depend on those visitors being plunged into poverty. Without the pyramids, Egypt loses its identity as the world's museum and becomes just another patch of desert. We aren't just deleting a monument, we are deleting the economic heartbeat of an entire region. And finally, we must consider the silence. If we hit delete on the pyramids, we aren't just removing stone, we are silencing the greatest conversation humanity has ever had with its own past. The pyramids provide us with our greatest, most enduring mystery. For centuries, they have stood as a silent stone challenge, forcing every generation to look at them and ask one single, world-changing question. How? This isn't just a question of engineering, it's a question of human potential. That one word, how, has acted as the ultimate catalyst for millions of dreamers, scientists, and rebels. When we delete the pyramids, we delete the spark of human curiosity itself. Imagine a world without wonder. Think about the void left in our imagination. Without Giza, we lose the archetype of the ancient mystery. There is no curse of the Pharaohs, no legends of hidden chambers filled with star maps, and no whispered stories of sacred knowledge passed down through the ages. Think of our stories. No Indiana Jones stepping into the dark with a torch. No Lara Croft deciphering ancient symbols. No The Mummy, and no Stargate. An entire genre of human storytelling, the adventure into the unknown, simply vanishes. Without the pyramids to serve as the ultimate goal, the very concept of an explorer changes. We lose the inspiration for the men and women who mapped our own planet. Why would you cross a dangerous ocean or hack through a jungle if you didn't believe there was something magnificent and mysterious waiting at the end of the map? If we delete the pyramids, we are left with a world that is fundamentally more predictable and far more boring. We become a species that doesn't look back, and therefore doesn't know how to look forward. The horizon, which used to be an invitation to discover the impossible, becomes just a flat line, a limit rather than a challenge. So when we look at that empty, haunting space in the desert where the pyramids once stood, we aren't just looking at sand. We are looking at a broken timeline. We are looking at a world without a synchronized calendar, a world where time itself is a fractured, disorganized mess. We are looking at a world where the great bridges of our cities collapse into the rivers because we never mastered the geometry of the heavy load. We are looking at a world where the shimmering towers of glass and steel were never created, leaving our skylines flat and our ambitions low. We are looking at a world where medicine is still a mystery of spirits and charms, a world where you might not survive a simple infection because the first surgeons never had a reason to open a body and map the secrets of human life. And we are looking at a world where Egypt, once the global powerhouse that taught the world how to think, build, and dream, is just a forgotten memory, a patch of desert with no story to tell. The pyramids weren't just graves for kings. They were the operating system for human progress. They were the benchmark. They told us, if we can do this, we can do anything. They were the evidence that human beings aren't just animals of the earth, but architects of the future. They gave us the courage to think in terms of centuries. They taught us how to build for eternity. Without them, our sense of eternal time vanishes. We become a throwaway civilization, building things that last for 20 years instead of 4,000. We lose the desire to leave something behind for the people of the year 6000. Thankfully, the delete button hasn't been pressed. They are still there. They stand as a silent, massive testament to what the human spirit is capable of when it refuses to accept impossible as an answer. They are the anchors of our reality, keeping us grounded in our history while we reach for the stars. But it makes you wonder, if we hadn't found those stones in the sand, would we have ever found the courage to leave the cave? Would we have ever dared to build our own future? Or would we still be standing on the banks of the Nile, looking at the stars and seeing only lights instead of a destination? Every stone in those pyramids is a piece of who you are today. Your math, your medicine, your clock, and your curiosity. When we celebrate the pyramids, we are celebrating the birth of the modern mind. Let me know in the comments, which part of this alternate reality scares you the most? Is it the loss of modern medicine? Or the thought of a world where we never learn to build toward the clouds? And tell me, which part of history should we delete next? What happens if the Great Wall of China vanishes, or the Statue of Liberty? History is a masterpiece of cause and effect, and today we realize that if you erase the foundation, the entire house of cards comes down. Don't forget to like this video if it made you see the world differently, and subscribe to join us as we continue to explore the worlds that almost were.